Hey guys, it's Dave Barnett from davidcbarnett.com, the blog site, YouTube channel, iTunes, and SoundCloud podcast, and soon Google Play podcast, because I just made the submission here yesterday to put it onto Google Play as well, where I talk about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses. And this week's video is a little bit different because I just got back from vacation. For those of you who follow my emails and stuff, I just took the kids on a 2-week vacation. We went out to Winnipeg, and I live on the east coast of Canada, so it's quite far. Normally, if you were going to fly there, it would be a 2.5-hour flight from Moncton to Toronto, and then probably close to a 3-hour flight from Toronto to Winnipeg. And in order to make it a big adventure, I decided to take the train. And so we had to go overnight to Montreal, and then we spent about 24 hours in Montreal, and then we went to Toronto on the train, then went overnight twice to get to Winnipeg. So it was quite a big journey, and the kids really enjoyed it, and I thought it was awesome to spend so much time with them where, you know, I wasn't stuck behind the wheel of a car driving or rushing through airports and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to make this video because of something that I saw when I was in Montreal. And but first, if you ever get a chance to go to Winnipeg, make sure you go to the Assiniboine Park Zoo. We got to walk through a glass tunnel underneath where the polar bears swim, and you get to see them right up close. And the reason why I'm filming it this way this week, and for those of you listening in the audio only, you might want to watch the video because I'm putting some photographs here of the trip, and so you can kind of see what we did and stuff. But a few months ago, I made a video about the future of cities where I talked about how the demand for commercial space was going to decline with the rise of online retailers. And, you know, two things have happened in the last 2 weeks that reinforce this, and they're happening more and more often in my life. So number one, I was in Montreal, and I was at the Old Port, where they have these old buildings, these old warehouse buildings that are all converted now to tourism attractions. So there's a giant Ferris wheel, kind of like the London Eye or the big Ferris wheel in Las Vegas. I'm not sure how they compare in size, but it was big. And they have like aerial obstacle courses that you do, you know, tethered into a safety harness and all kinds of attractions like that. And one of the things that they've done with one of these old warehouses is they've turned it into a labyrinth or a maze business, where you go and you have to try to find 4 different treasures inside this maze, and you have a little card and you get it stamped at each of these treasures, and you race against time. And it's really cool because it's an interesting attraction for people from out of town, but they change the maze every week for people that live in the city that want to keep coming back and doing it over and over again. The maze changes all the time. So this is one example of a new kind of business that is taking up a large amount of space. And the other thing that happened is that when I got back from my trip to Winnipeg, I realized, hey, in 2 weeks' time, I'm leaving on my trip to Africa to go hike up Mount Kilimanjaro, and I really need to buy some new thermal underwear for the last day when we're up at the very peak of the mountain, because it can be minus 20, minus 25 Celsius and windy up there. And so I started looking around for thermal underwear, and guess what? Even though I live in Canada, you can't buy good quality wool, thermal, long johns, and long underwear from a retail store in September because the season hasn't started yet here on the East Coast. It's still hot. It's like 24 degrees out. It's humid. It's sticky. I was sweating earlier today. I had to turn on the air conditioner. So I ended up having to go online to Amazon to order myself a new pair of, you know, woolen long johns and long sleeve underwear tops in order to prepare for this trip. So we've got all of these forces that are leading to the demise of traditional retail. And I just thought it was really cool to experience this maze, because I think this is the kind of business that's coming along that is going to take some of this retail space. Because we've got high traffic locations, and some of these grocery stores or department stores are a lot of square footage. And this maze was easily the size of a large grocery store. Like, it was a lot of space, and it took us 90 minutes to solve the maze and find all 4 of the treasures that were hidden within it. But I just thought it was cool. Anyway, Next week, you can expect a regular video. I've got a whole pile of questions from viewers just like you about buying, selling, managing small and medium-sized businesses. We're going to get back to the question list next week. And then I'm going to be in Africa. I'm going to be visiting Tanzania and Ethiopia. And I'm hoping to see some or do some new and different things with business over there that I can report on to you guys. So I'm going to have my eyes and ears open for something new that I can share. But then afterwards, we'll be getting back to the regular list of questions. And if you have a question about buying, selling, managing, or financing a business, send it in. That's where I get the meat for my discussions. It's always suggestions from viewers like you. And don't forget to like and share these videos if you enjoy them, and click subscribe, because the only way the system has of knowing that the videos are good is if you click like and if you share them. And with that, I'll wish you guys a happy end of summer season, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.